Warhammer fans, it's Pete again. This is the second part of my little deck building exercise for the Sepulchral Guard. In the first one, which you can see up here, I did a deck which was all about the glory obtained from objectives. So this one's going to be completely the opposite, not an objective guard inside, it's all about killing. Sorry, excuse me, didn't know what it was about. So this deck's going to all be taking your opponent down up close and personal one-on-one. So once again, I'm going to run through the cards I've picked and the reasons why I've picked them, and a general strategy that I'm going to try and follow in the game that I'm going to use them in against Robin at some point in the not too distant future. As always, if you see something you think is a load of nonsense, or that you think I'm missing something I should use, or using something that I shouldn't use, do let me know in the comments. So let's start with the glory. So first card in my deck is Brawl Score. In an end phase of all friendly fighters, at least 3 are adjacent to enemy fighters. You're going to get up close and you're going to get personal with this group, so you want to get as many of them in as you can. So that's almost a given, you might as well get some glory for it. Next one is Contained. Theoretically, if you're going to be getting up close and in your opponent's face, then hopefully you might be able to keep them in their side, which means you can get another 3 glory for that. Divide and Conquer. Now hopefully this is one that you can grab early on, where maybe your opponent's starting to push into your end and you're starting to push into your opponent's end of the pitch. It's going to be chaotic near the beginning, might as well get a glory. Endless Slaughter. Score this in the third end phase if 5 or more fighters are out of action. Now, depending on who you're fighting, if you're fighting Oryx or Stormcast, you're not going to have that many to take out, but ideally you'll have killed them all. If you haven't and they start taking out some of your guys, you just don't resurrect them, and there's 3 glory. Victorious Duel. Something quite cinematic about having your leader take out an enemy leader. You might as well get some glory for it whilst you're looking impressive. Denial. Score in the third end phase if there are no enemy fighters in your territory. This one goes very nicely with the earlier one, which is Contained, because that one is all your surviving enemy fighters are in their territory and that none of them are in yours. If you can get one, you've got the other, so you might as well get 6 victory for that, or 6 glory. Next one, Flawless Strategy. It's hopefully a relatively easy one to score if you've been a bit lucky. More Able Bodies. Score this one if your warband takes out 2 or more enemy fighters. Now once you've started to weaken them, you then want to come in with your heavy hitters once they're nearly ready to take down. If you can do that with 2 of them, well, that's an extra glory. Undead Swarm. You score this if each enemy fighter is adjacent to at least 2 friendly fighters. Now that sounds a bit technical, a bit tricky to start with, but if you're coming up against someone like Stormcast or Oryx, again, it's not going to be too hard to surround them with a lot of your guys, and you can use the same guy against more than one person, so you could theoretically cover 2 guys off 2 enemies with 2 of your own if you can position it right. Skills Unforgotten. Hopefully your Warden's going to be killing people, so he might as well get a glory for it. Plus this is a mid-turn glory, which is always useful to suddenly upgrade you guys and give them a bit of a boost. March of the Dead. Now it's not strictly killing people, this one, but I feel that you're going to be running your guys forward early on to get them toe to toe, so you may as well get a couple of glory for shifting your guys up the field. And Battle Without End. Now this is in both decks as well, or in my previous deck as well. And you get this if 2 or more of your friendly fighters return to the field, because you're going to be raising guys because they're going to be dying. It's going to get messy, it's going to get bloody. So you might as well get a glory for it. So that is the deck of objectives. How am I going to get those? Well, let's first look at the upgrade cards that I've decided to take. First one, Demonic Weapon. Yeah, you take a damage every time you use this, but you know what? 2 hammers, 3 damage. Your guys are going to come back when you resurrect them and they're going to still have it, so you may as well get as much out of your guy when he's hitting somebody as you possibly can. Plus, when you resurrect them, that's going to help towards your other objectives. Great Strength, +1 damage is always going to be useful because you want to do as much damage as you can. Great Fortitude. Your guys aren't going to do a lot of damage if they're all dead, so you might as well try and make them stay around as long as possible. Lethal Lunge, nice one for your Warden. 2 hammers, range of 2, 3 damage and cleave. Very handy against those Oryx and the Stormcast. Remembered Shield. The harder your guys are to kill, the more damage they can do whilst your opponent tries to take them down. Easy. Ancient Commander. You're going to be moving your guys, so if you can move them en masse early on, you get that glory from the other objective, and you can get more of your guys where you need them to be to support and try and overwhelm your opponent. Undying, another +1 wound, never hurts. Fatal Strike, 1 for the champion. When he dies, he gets to make an attack. It's 2 hammers, it does 2 damage, and it's on the champion. It's not got cleave, but if he dies, you can resurrect him, and he can do it again if he dies again. Deathly Charge on the champion again. When he charges, he gets +1 damage. Never hurts to have another +1 damage, especially on the champion. He's going to be doing a lot of attacks for you. Grim Cleave. This gives the Harvester the cleave attack. Not so useful against your Khorne or your other Sepulchral Guards, but against your Oryx and against your Stormcast, that one could be absolutely destroying if you can get a few of them around you. Now we're going to look at the Ploys. Dual Strike, 1 fighter, counts as 2 for supporting. It's always handy to have as much support as you can, and you're going to overwhelm you guys, but you might have 2 that are out on their own. This will help you even up those odds a bit more. Time Trap. I kind of see you using this one early on, where you might throw a load of guys into position and then launch an attack with the Time Trap card. Really swarm somebody to get all those extra assists in, and then slam somebody quick. Confusion. If somebody thinks they're holding back the tide and suddenly they find themselves surrounded by 3 or 4 guys, well, that doesn't do your opponent much good in their strategy. Sidestep. A free move is still a free move, and getting somebody to be standing where you need them to be just before an attack is always useful. Ceaseless Attack. You attack, after that you can make another attack with someone else. There is nothing bad about that whatsoever, especially if you can soften someone up first before your Warden delivers the coup de grace. Clawing Hands. If you've got a load of guys who aren't on the battlefield, they're considered to be supporting for the next attack. Now that is pretty good, I reckon. It's going to possibly give you that extra chance to hit that you're missing, especially when you've lost a few people. The Necromancer commands. There's nothing more depressing than beefing up one of your guys to the hilt with all your damage and all your assists, only for them to roll a load of swords when you need hammers. So this one lets you attack again if you miss. Not a bad thing. Bone Shrapnel. Cause a damage on the enemy when they take you out of action. It's 1 damage, but 1 damage is sometimes all you need before you can take them out with one of your heavier hitters. Also, it's a damage that they can't stop, so it doesn't matter how beefed up your Stormcast opponent is, they're still going to take a wound. And against your Stormcast opponents, they're not going to be able to become inspired from it, which is an extra bonus. Restless Dead. Bring a guy back from the dead. Never hurts. Sometimes your opponent doesn't realise that somebody's going to appear right next to them, and it'll absolutely stuff them up when somebody pops out of the ground, help stab them in the back. Spectral Form. Once the board gets a bit clogged up with all these guys milling around, you might want to get somebody right where you need them, and you're not going to be able to do that with a load of other bodies in the way. So this one's always handy for a bit of manoeuvrability. So that is the deck that I have picked. Now this one relies a little bit more on your main guys, so I thought I'd quickly run through those with you as well about my opinions as to what they're going to be good for. Your Warden, he's obviously going to be one of your main damage dealers. You don't want to get him into the thick of the fighting too much though, because you don't want him to die, because he's going to be a linchpin for you. But he can stand behind everyone else with his 2-range weapon and do a lot of happy stabbing from the distance. Your champion is going to be one of your main hitters. He does 2 dice, hits on hammers, 2 damage, and he has cleave, which makes him really useful against Stormcaster and Oryx alike. You want him supported wherever you can. The Harvester. Not so great against your Oryx and Stormcast, but still useful. He really shines when you come up against Khorne. If you can get him in amongst the thicker things and maybe do 2 or 3 wounds spread out across 2 or 3 people, the Khorne guys don't have as many wounds on them, so they are going to suffer. The Prince of Dust. Now a lot of people don't rate him because he only does 1 damage, but he does hit on hammers, and he has knockback 1, which is really helpful for baseballing people away. Just keeping them at distance whilst you just swarm some of the other guys and try and take them down. And then of course, your petitioners. Poor little guys. I mean, they're going to be your cruft. They're going to be dying, they're going to be coming back, and they're going to be the ones that you're going to try and swarm people with so that your main heroes can get in there and deliver the killing blows. Don't underestimate them though, because they are going to be vital to help you swarm the opponent. If you haven't got your petitioners with you, you're not going to be able to overwhelm people where you need to, so you need to make sure you keep them around. They're also handy once they become inspired, because they roll 3 dice. They might only do 1 damage, but 3 dice is 3 dice, and that's going to be useful. The chances of crits and the chances of rolling lots of swords with 3 dice obviously is much better than 2 dice. But it just makes them something which, if you just need to chip that 1 wound off, sometimes it's just worth it. So anyway guys, I hope some of that was useful, and I hope that the tactics I've told you aren't an absolute load of rubbish. I'm going to be using this deck against Robin at some point in the near future. I'm not sure who against yet, which is why I've tried to put in a bit of stuff everybody, bit of Stormcast, bit of Orc, bit of Khorne attacking there. Some of the cards that I've picked are obviously more useful against some than others, so we'll see how it goes, but hopefully it'll be a winner. As always, if I've missed a card out that you think I really should include, or if I've stuck some cards in that you think are absolute nonsense, then please do let me know in the comments below. Until then, happy gaming!